I'm a 23-year-old male who unfortunately encountered Jane, a 20-year-old female, through a dating app. I've always been skeptical about finding a life partner on dating apps, largely because of the awful experiences my friends have had in my view. These platforms are primarily for casual encounters. Still, I joined out of curiosity and to test my charm. Returning to the story, Jane and I hit it off immediately on the app, and the typical 3-day waiting period was non-existent. After a few days of constant communication, we decided to exchange numbers and continue our conversations on Telegram. Despite my initial reservations about forming expectations from an online interaction, I was eager to see where this could lead. Getting to know Jane was a delight. We shared many interests which made our conversations exciting. Just 2 days into our text exchanges, she invited me to a movie date. Given our shared love for films, I was thrilled to accept and looked forward to watching The Flash, her favourite superhero movie. Despite a somewhat awkward first date, we continued to see each other, and feelings gradually developed. We were behaving like a couple. Within a few months, though, we hadn't officially defined our relationship. We were both content, enjoying each other's company, even though we had our share of misunderstandings. However, these incidents revealed aspects of Jane's personality that raised some concerns or red flags. As some might say, I found myself always planning our dates and often had to be the one to resolve our disputes. She could be unkind at times, but I believed it was important to remain forgiving and mature during challenging times, embodying the true spirit of a gentleman. Unfortunately, it seemed I was extending this courtesy to someone who didn't appreciate it. Things took a turn when Jane had to travel overseas for a school trip. It was only a 2E trip. But those 2 weeks were incredibly difficult. We found ourselves arguing frequently, primarily because she seemed uninterested in my day-to-day experiences. She expected me to listen to her but didn't reciprocate, despite my repeated attempts to address this issue. Our discussions only escalated into heated arguments. Eventually, I decided to take a break and told her I needed space. She said she understood and wished me well. After a couple of days, I decided to reach out to her. Her delayed response, which was out of character, made me suspicious, considering she always had her phone on her despite being in the same time zone. It took her 8 hours to reply with a rather cold response. Something felt off. I decided to reinstall the dating app where we first met, and to my dismay, she was active. We had previously agreed to delete the app as our relationship became more serious. So this was a shock. I felt a mix of emotions. My heart was racing, and I struggled to breathe. Possibly a panic attack, I tried calling her to clarify things, but she didn't answer. I decided to wait until her return to confront her face to face. During this waiting period, my mind spun with negative thoughts and assumptions about what she might be doing overseas. After a few days of silence, she agreed to meet in person. I braced myself for the worst, resolving to stay calm and respectful. Upon her return, we met, and she filled me in on what I had missed when I asked her what was wrong. She confessed to having detachment issues. She admitted to being unaffected by my absence and acknowledged her heartless treatment towards me during our arguments, as much as it hurt. I appreciated her honesty and respected her feelings. However, when I asked about her activity on the dating app, she initially denied it. I told her I'd seen her online, and she finally admitted to using the app out of boredom, claiming she was only swiping through profiles without engaging in conversations. I found her explanation hard to believe. I asked her to show me the app. As proof of her claims, she stated she had already deleted it but agreed to re-download it. Interestingly, she was unable to log in, which she made a point to demonstrate. I knew she had simply turned off the data for the app. Assuming I would be none the wiser, I chose to let it go. If she was going to such lengths to hide something, it was probably best I didn't know. I didn't want to imagine what my reaction might have been, so I chose to remain calm and said it's okay. I hope one day you'll recognize what I've done for you and be grateful today isn't that day. But when you do see everything, don't come back to apologize because I've already forgiven you. My intentions were always genuine. I hope you find what you're looking for, and please don't treat the next guy the way you treated me. Take care, it hurt to say this, knowing I was betrayed. She teared up as I delivered my speech for some reason. I don't know how I managed to stay kind and composed when all I wanted to do was cry. After seeing her fake tears, I hugged her and left, and we haven't spoken since the months have passed, and I'm still devastated by the betrayal. I'd appreciate any advice from strangers here on how to properly move on from this all love.